Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. I'm in London. I'm with Laura Hodges Bethge, who is, of course, the president of Celebrity Cruises. And Laura, you're back with us again.
Yes, I love being in the UK. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I think we were last together in May. You were at the Clear conference and you spoke on stage, which was fantastic. But so tell us why you're back. Why are you here?
Well, visiting travel partners. Right? This is a really important market for Celebrity Cruises, and I make a commitment to make sure that I connect with our travel partners multiple times a year, and that's why I'm here. And then I get to spend time with you.
Oh, well, thank you very much for taking the time. So tell us what you've been doing on this particular trip then. You've seen travel partners. What's been your sort of message, or what have you been trying to get from them?
Well, I think, I've been doing this for about the last year and a half now with Celebrity, and so I haven't gotten to meet everyone yet. And so I did two kind of deep immersions with two of our biggest travel partners yesterday, which was fantastic. So learned a lot more about their business and how we can better partner together.
Yeah.
And then we hosted a wonderful dinner for about 20 of our top trade partners. So again, just really nice to mix, mingle, and just get to know each other better.
Okay. And what were you talking about? I mean, I know you're not going to tell us commercials, I get that, but were they interested in product? What were they sort of wanting to know from you and where Celebrity's going?
Kind of talking about our vision for the future. We spent a lot of time talking about the differentiated products and experiences that we're going to be bringing out. Some of the things that are, I couldn't give away any secrets, but some of the reasons why we're making some changes to the fifth in the Edge Class series that's coming out next fall. And then our dreaming about what comes next and how we do that and the process by doing that. And they also shared with me just a lot more about their business, what's working, what's not working, how their business has changed, and then how that maybe has impacted our business to the positive or the negative, and then how we can either overcome that or continue to grow it in a positive direction. Okay. So I think every time that I sit down with our travel partners, because the business is consistently changing, right?
Yeah.
And so we need to be flexible as partners to make sure that we have the right schemes in place, the right incentives in place to push the products that are working for them and to work in the right way. So we're not a one size fits all. We need to figure out the nuances of each person's business.
And when you say their business has changed, are you talking about sort of their models, or is it that you're talking to different agents now? Is it all retail, or some homework, or some online? I mean, are they all cruise specialists, or are there some sort of coming into cruise? What do you?
Yeah, I think there's some that have gone to more packaging, right, and weren't doing packaging before.
Yeah.
And so that changes the way we work together. There's a lot more home workers now. And so that changes the way that we engage, that we train.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new apprentices coming on. So that was one of the things that we spent a lot
new
of time.
People into the industry who need to start from scratch,
exactly,
I guess.
Right. So how do we get our folks out there more to train them faster, get them on our ships as well? Because one of the things that makes a massive difference is that either when they sail or they visit the ship, you see sales immediately start to go up from that as well.
Absolutely.
So just the different touch points. Because either people have left the business, new ones coming in. So it's constantly evolving, and we just need to make sure that we stay connected.
Yeah, brilliant. All right. And then you say the UK is the first thing you said, such an important market for you. Are we second behind North America? Are we still in that sweet spot?
Yeah, still in the sweet spot. Celebrity Apex, obviously, is first time having Edge Series here in Southampton. It's doing exceptionally well. So just really thrilled with the support that we're getting. And then as well, just our overall European itineraries and deployment, again, getting a ton of support from the travel agent community here in the UK and Ireland.
And of course, you've promised us Apex as well next year, so we're very excited about that. So when you say getting a ton of support, she's predominantly sold just for British guests, is she, out of Southampton? Or
globally, everybody's doing well with that product. So there's North American cruise market is very strong, and so we are seeing support for Apex from North America as well. But it's right in your backyard, right? So we're seeing, a lot of support from that.
Brilliant. And I think Giles, actually, we did an interview with him, and he was saying she was like in terms of yield, she was one of the best-selling ships in the fleet. So, I mean, why do you think that's been such a success?
Well, our Edge class ships in general, right? They're newer, so I think it's an industry kind of standard that your newer ships are, obviously garner the most attention. So obviously they're driving the most demand in terms of how many people want to sail on them. So it's important to book early to get the staterooms that you want. And things like that. So I think it's solely because, one, they're newer. And then you think about our entire Celebrity fleet. I'm constantly being asked, like, can you put a ship out of here? Can you give me one more ship here, et cetera? I'm like, I need more ships.
Yeah.
And so
But we want another ship.
Yes.
I mean, we love Apex, but we were hoping maybe we'd get a second ship out of the UK. Is that on the cards at all?
Well, it's actually something that we consider every single time. And part of the reason why, I need a bigger fleet. And so we're dreaming about the ships that come next so that we can grow Celebrity Cruises so we can have more ships to put in more places.
Okay. Well, let's come back to talk about sort of new ships and product. But I think some of the things you've just announced your 25-26 program, saying it's the most ambitious ever. I mean, it's just, you seem to be going to everywhere in the world. I'm probably not quite, but it does seem to be, bringing back new destinations, launching new ones as well. So tell us what you're most excited about in terms of sort of the itineraries that you've got coming up.
One of the things that we've been doing, listening to our travel agent partners, but also our most loyal guests, and they want really interesting itineraries. So what we're doing is we do a lot more open jaw so that you can do back-to-backs or back-to-back-to-backs and not repeat ports. So we're really excited about that. We will be launching our 26-27 deployment this fall. And one of the things that we're working on is we definitely have 50 plus nights, but I've pushed the team to do 75 plus nights. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there, but we're trying. And it's, again, back-to-back-to-backs and not repeating a port.
Yeah.
Because we get lots of our most loyal guests who want to stay on for months at a time, see the world. And this would start in Alaska, go through Hawaii. If everything is going okay in the Suez at that point, go through the Suez, do really interesting itineraries, land up.
And is that popular with the British market as well, those longer sailings?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then I'm really excited about, we have our President's Cruise next May. So we're doing May 17th on Apex, going to the Norwegian fjords.
First time.
Yeah, first time. So I'm really hoping a lot of our British guests will join us, our most loyal British guests.
And why did you pick Norwegian fjords? Is that just a particular favourite destination of yours?
I've never been, so
okay.
I'm excited to experience something new with our most loyal guests. And we try to mix it up, right? So we were in the Caribbean this year, which was a fantastic time. But a lot of our most loyal guests from the area we're in, you see that you get all of those that are coming in. So it's nice to be in different parts of the world.
So you might attract different loyal guests.
Exactly
okay.
Right.
And I find it really interesting because you talked about how important these President's Cruises were, because you said that you get these fantastic ideas on board from the guests, because you obviously spend loads of time. I saw what you've been doing. I mean, you literally do everything on that. You're comparing, you're doing entertainment, you seem to be doing everything. But what is it then that's, in terms of those ideas that you can then implement? I mean, can you give us any examples of when someone said, oh, could you do more of this, Laura, or could we have that? What have you implemented?
Yeah, I think it's even, I love getting the feedback, but it's less the feedback that surprises me and more really watching what works of what we're doing, what's really well attended, and then what's maybe a little bit more quiet. What I have to say is that Celebrity Cruisers are joiners. They join everything with gusto, either in it or watching it, which is fantastic. But there are obviously some things that are more well attended than not.
Of course.
And so really watching our guests and how they interact with each other, our crew members, etc., really helps just spurn, maybe on a future class of ships, we don't necessarily need to do it this way anymore, because maybe, desires have changed, right? And so it's by the act of watching, and then it's also just our way to say thank you for being so loyal to us. And so I know they call it a President's Cruise, but I don't know why they call it a President's Cruise. Probably
because you do every job when you're on board, by all accounts.
I have so much fun. I'm exhausted by the end. I have so much fun. But it really is about our most loyal. So
it's about their cruise to say thank you, but you do pick up some really interesting points that then go into future planning. All right. And just before we move on from itineraries, you've also introduced a few more shorter, and you talked about the longer ones, but you've introduced more shorter sailings as well. So why have you done that?
Again, guests are asking for shorter getaways, and if you look at the consumer trends, people are not taking their longer vacation, but then they're also taking these quick breaks.
Okay.
And so there was a desire for us to do that, and it's been going exceptionally well. So I'm really glad we made that change.
And is that even popular with the UK? I mean, do they then combine it with other things?
Yes,
do
they'll
they just
come down and then either do a back-to-back, so maybe even do 7 nights, but then also extend their vacation and do other things.
Yeah. And one of the things you've introduced in your first year, it's only been a year. I can't believe you've only been doing a year and a bit. I know you have been busy. But you introduced calling it Perfect Day for celebrity guests. And we talked about that a little bit on stage, because I was wondering how that had gone down. Are celebrity customers happy to be sharing a private island with your sister company, or do they really want their own private island? How's that been going?
It's been going fantastic. It's actually become our number one rated destination in the Caribbean by celebrity guests. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, and what I would say is overall, our celebrity guests are absolutely loving it, and it was a great thing for us to do, for us again to learn about what are the preferences, etc. And so we're very interested in making sure that we're providing a great destination experience wherever we are all over the world. And the Caribbean is right for us to continue to develop and work with the Caribbean nations to develop great opportunities for shore excursions and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So it was a really great, we had the asset. There was some times that Royal wasn't there with two ships and we could pull alongside.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me understand, again, more about our guests.
So would you continue to always develop, shared private islands with your sister companies, or would you ever have a bespoke celebrity one?
Well, I think certainly why wouldn't we share?
If it's worked,
it's working. So when we look at Royal Caribbean International has announced that they're building a Royal Beach Club in Paradise Island in Nassau. There's also going to be others, and so we will be able to utilize space there too.
Yeah.
We'll take advantage of that. Is there one that would celebrity benefit from having its own private destination? Maybe in the future. So right now we're taking advantage of.
Is that something you're dreaming about?
I dream about lots of things. I dream about lots of things. We'll see.
Fair enough. All right, and then just before we again move on from itineraries, because we talked to Giles recently about airlift. It has been an issue, very expensive, or just not enough of it. And he said that you were working very hard on sort of trying to secure either allocations or full charters to really support the UK market. He said it's promising, but they hadn't got there yet. I think we've talked to him in April. So where are you now with that? And then were you able to tell agents about that?
Today, there's some. I'm not going to get the location right, but there's an allocation opening today because we talked about it at dinner last night. I can't remember the airport that he told me, but there's an allocation opening today, and then that's 2 months earlier than we've opened in the past.
Okay.
And then there's going to be more coming. So those announcements will be literally happening.
So you have secured, because I think that was a bit of a challenge for UK agents beforehand.
Yes, and I spent time yesterday talking with a couple of agencies that we did deep dives with just about that in general, and doing charters with them and being a bit more differentiated in how we get people over to the US and doing different things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about some of the things that we've got working.
Okay, good stuff. All right, conscious of your time, let's talk about product. You mentioned there the 5th Edge class ship. We've got Excel coming in November.
Yes.
And I think you said there's 7 new exciting things.
Yes.
And you never tell me what they're going to be.
I know, I'm not
so obviously this is learnings from the other ships in the series, but what is it more to do with luxury? Because I know previously you were saying that you wanted to expand the luxury offering on board, so what can you even tell us what areas it's in? Is it entertainment? Is it accommodations or public spaces?
It's a mix of all of those things. So it's not just only food things or only entertainment things. It's a mix of those things.
Okay.
There's 2 what I would say out of the 7, there's 2 really bigger, really new things. One is a space that's never existed before. Another is a reimagining of a space that's existed. And they both have immersive entertainment, food, etc. So all of the senses, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, because that was one of the things when we first met, when you first came over, you were saying, I think we can do more with our entertainment. We can own the evening more.
Yes.
So is that what it's that's what you're trying to do?
There's going to be, yes, absolutely. We're going to own the evening, and in one of the, especially with one of the venues, but then in the other, owning like kind of throughout the day and blurring the line between ship and shore. Our guests really come to us for the destinations that we visit. So that immersive destination experience, I think you're going to see come through in Excel. I gave you a little bit more than I did before.
A little bit more. I still don't quite understand. Maybe when are we going to find out? Just literally when the ship launches, or will you sort of drip feed it?
We'll put out some teasers at the end of this year.
Okay.
And then right in the beginning of next year, you're going to hear all about it.
All right. Well, we'll be very excited to hear because obviously we've seen the evolution of this, and you have been teasing it for a while, so we're excited. All right, that's good. And then also, let's just talk, on a technical side of things, the engine is different as well on Excel, isn't it? So just tell us about that and why that's so important and why you've gone down that particular approach.
Yeah, so we are on the path to net zero. We have said by 2050 we want our fleet to be net zero Royal Caribbean group. And in order to do that, we need to take steps to get there. We don't know, and we can't do this on our own. We need industry to help support us. We don't know what the fuel of the future is going to be. But on XL, we will have our first tri-fuel engine.
Right.
So it'll be able to run on all of the traditional fuels that we all know, plus methanol. We can't get enough methanol to run the entire vessel on methanol.
Exclusively,
It's not available yet, but we do anticipate that this is going to be a future fuel that is a very clean fuel. Also, on our sister brand, Royal Caribbean International, we just held a decarbonization summit on Utopia of the Seas, which is the new ship that came out, and brought together 30 to 40 leaders in the industry, not just in cruise, but in, fuel and technology, et cetera, to really talk about how do we push this innovation forward.
Right.
We've said by 2035 we want our first net zero ship. And by 2050 we want to be net zero.
But you've got, it's a different approach to what Royal's doing and what Silversea's. Even though you're in the same group, is that sort of deliberate so that you're all trying something and then you'll find out which one's best?
Exactly right. That is absolutely deliberate. So Utopia and Icon came out with LNG. We're doing tri-fuel here. We've tried fuel cells at times, et cetera. So there are lots of different strategies. And as each individual fleet brings out new ships, it makes sense for us to try different technologies because it allows us to learn faster. Yeah,
and then you can obviously share that across the fleet. Right. Okay, great. All right, you mentioned then the dreaming, and I know you're not going to tell us too much, but you have said that you haven't got enough ships. And is that in your classic fleet, or are you talking more about your expedition? Because obviously you've got Flora in the Galapagos. Is that do you want to expand that part of the business as well as your sort of classic fleet? Right now, the dreaming that we're doing is more in the classic fleet, and thinking about where we have our Millennium class series that is getting close to, normally cruise ships last around 30 years. That's, kind of just a normal in the industry. So they're getting close to that age. And so, so when you say you need new ships, it's about replacing older tonnage rather than
and growing, right?
Okay.
Replacing and growing. But we're going to get to the point where we're going to
you need to
replace those. And then Solstice class is kind of middle-aged. So dreaming about what we do to modernize those beautiful ships.
Okay. So they've got some life in them yet, but they just need revamping a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
So, we've learned so much from our Edge series. So we take the things that we learn, we roll them back, and then we also take that as we start dreaming about what comes next. When we build a new ship, takes about 5 years from the dreaming phase to when they actually show up.
So you've been dreaming for a while,
we've been started,
but you haven't placed an order yet.
No, we have not placed any orders. We have to make that public.
Yeah, of course. All right, but
the dreaming has to begin. Right, to know ultimately what we would build and what we would order.
Okay, and are you in that sort of? I mean, I've been in Miami, and you've got that incredible sort of
innovation lab.
Yeah. So is that
it's humming in there? Is
it okay? Because that is so exciting. All sorts of crazy things being tested and trialed, and fascinating place to be. So you're in and out of there, I'm sure, because you love that side of the job, don't you? Doing the designs. Okay, all right. So I know we haven't got much time because Laura's got to get a flight. She's got to go back to the US, but I think you've got some things coming up in the UK. You've got an activation in Ireland and Scotland. So that's coming up. These are sales blitzes, are they, to just really really engage those markets?
Exactly right. As we said at the beginning, there's so many new people coming into this industry, which is fantastic. But we want to get out there. We want to train them. We want to support them. And we want to support our travel agent partners in the way that they want to be supported. So that's why we're so active and out there all the time.
Yeah. So the team here are just you've got your Celebrity for Beginners is still going. So when you mentioned there, the people coming into the industry, so you're really taking care of them by doing that sort of education process.
Great partnership.
I know it's great, but there are so many people that I've spoken to agents who now just sell Celebrity because they've done that training and they're so new to cruise, but they've done that particular program. And of course, there is that opportunity to get on board as well on one of your seminars at sea. So that I think people do love that. And just in general, in terms of, I know you can't talk about trading because we're in a closed period, but your outlook for the industry, we've obviously had those difficult times, but you're always pretty positive. Are you sort of positive about the rest of this year and the year ahead?
Yes, absolutely. Even if you go back to our last earnings call, what we said in that particular call was that strong, and we have a very positive outlook for the industry. Cruise right now is having it's a wonderful time to be in cruise.
Yeah, it does seem so. Really all right, and great for agents who want to be involved in this sector as well. And so thank you for coming over and seeing our trade partners, because it's really important that they hear from the people that are dreaming at the top of the tree. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for talking to Travel Weekly as well.
Always good to be with you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Laura.